Welcome to the Talkin Trash Addiction Recovery Podcast. We suffered in silence. Now we recover out loud.
Good evening. Welcome to the Channel 4 6 o'clock news at 11. I'm your anchor, Frank Sinazzi, coming to you live from the Drinkwater, Saskatchewan Waffle House.
Good.
Thank you. And Farrier Services. Today's top story we are following. Ballet assembles across the world are now auditioning ballerinas over 6 feet tall because they don't have to stand on their tippy toes. Good evening, Talkin Trashers. Welcome to episode 233. We are welcoming into our studios Sober Papa Joey. He is 65 years old, coming up to 34 years of sobriety. He is a podcaster as well. He posts material 3 times a day, and author of a book called Don't Drink or Use No Matter What. So, and now to a man who tried to grow a herb garden but couldn't find the time. Jimmy Snyder.
I heard the word herb.
Herb. It's herb. Herb.
Here we are talking trash. I'm not going to bore everybody. 232 is, it's not up yet.
33. Yeah. Right.
232 isn't up yet. I've been cutting it up and re-uploading it and watching it again and putting it up again, putting it up again. All I've been doing is that, and it's still not fixed up until now. So anyway, we suck all around, but we do some things right. But yeah, give me a break, people. I'm doing the best I can. Real quick, we have an announcement. Fuck them. No. All right, let's just do our preamble. The things that happen for this show to execute. I went through a lot today. All right, yep. All right, we do a preamble, see what happens after.
Recover out
loud. This is our humble broadcast, where ethics and personal anonymity are of the utmost importance. We run this podcast as an act of service to those whose lives have been affected by addiction. We don't do it for profit or notoriety. We place principles before personalities. We benefit from this podcast just as much as anyone else. We all work programs and choose to sacrifice our own anonymity to spread the word that recovery is possible. We do this thing in an attempt to show, as living examples, that no matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That's the 9th step promise. It's our creed we abide by here on Talkin Trash. We feel called to uphold AA and NA principles. We firmly believe that you can only keep what you have by giving it away. Please join us in a moment of silence, followed by the Serenity Prayer.
God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
All right, well, let's meet the team of Talkin Trash. But first, we're going to let our royalty-free music get the mood pumping. We paid for this music. We're allowed to play this. So let's just enjoy it. Sorry about that. Let's meet the team of Talkin Trash. I've lost all control of this fucking thing.
Oh, really?
There it is. You wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. Yep. All right. Let's meet the team of Talkin Trash. Where's Brad at? Brad!
He's pumping oil, man.
Bradley, calling Bradley Mansfield.
Bradley Manscaped, where are you? Hello, Bradley. Hello.
Already.
Oh, you guys are probably tariffing the phone calls.
Tariffing the phone call. Jimmy!
Well, I don't know.
I can't
That'd be
believe.
called a collect call.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy. Bradley Mansfield's 49 years old. He's got 11 children, and he's a nuclear physicist. Jimmy Lytle! Jimmy is from Saskatchewan, Canada. He's our guy that does all the stuff that I don't do. Next on deck, he is...
Willie D!
I gotta get used to the timing. It's Willie D, the place to be. He is everywhere I need him to be. He's everywhere he's not. I send him earbuds and apparel. I don't see any of it. I think he sells it for drugs. Will Douglas, everybody. We love him so much.
They're good ones.
Good for you. And then there's Jimmy!
There's me, talking trash.
Oh, yeah.
I had a dream the other night that I was playing poker in outer space with Donald Trump and my old coke dealer. Weird, right?
Who won?
Did I tell you guys that? I told you that. I don't know. I wouldn't play. I was afraid to play. I was
Not
scared.
you.
Elizabeth McKeon will be on Sunday night. Very exciting.
Oh.
She is our medical professional. She's a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. She'll be in on Sunday. Very exciting. And if you missed it on Sunday, you'll never get to see it because it's never going to post. Larry was on Sunday. We had a very good time. A great interaction. I cannot get this effing show to pass copyright. I don't know what this. I've been working on it since Sunday night, trying to get it, and I've re-rendered it 15 times. I don't know what to do. I'll figure it out. I will.
Well,
I'll
did
figure
the
it
word
out.
bobblehead, Larry? Like what
Jenny,
tripped
I
it?
know. I don't know.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Bethany. Yep. So that's our whole team. That was unpolished. So let's see how everybody's doing here. The three boys of Talkings of the Trash. How is everybody this evening?
Great.
Good.
Good. God, my team looks good. That's fantastic. Oh, what's happening out there in Trash Land?
Well, you look marvelous.
Well, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
You know, I almost, as Bethany was going live last night, she was podcast drowning, and I threw her a life preserver in the shape of our show. I said, listen, just go and talk trash. I'll broadcast it for you. But she didn't see the message because it was to her. But anyway, I was ready to just give her our fucking shit. I know what it's like. I know dead air is not fun at all, right, boys?
Silence is not fun.
No,
Except when you're in deep shit. We're not in deep shit right now. So, well,
Right.
I'm sure we will. Hey,
We'll
it's
get
only
there.
7 minutes in, so let's see what happens.
I know. Let's do the upcoming guests before we forget. All right, I can speak over these videos. Apparently, everything's changing with fucking StreamYard. That does that. Now I'm ready. Upcoming guests, Jimmy, read those.
Okay, tonight we have Sober Papa Joey, big check mark. On Sunday, we have Liz McKeon. I got this written down. She is a psychiatric mental, oh shit, I already screwed up.
Fucking blow
Health
it already.
nurse practitioner. Followed by Bethany B next Wednesday. Sunday, the 30th, we have Tina C celebrating her 10th anniversary. Woohoo!
Yes,
On the
she
6th
is.
of September, we have Matt Sandbagberg.
I don't think
On
you
the
can say that.
9th, we have Tammy from also Rock Bottom Revival. On the 13th, Katie Longmire. There we go. And it's filling up. It's filling up fast.
It always does. Yep.
Yeah.
Very good. Very exciting.
Oh yeah.
Liz will be on Sunday. We're going to talk about drugs and stuff. And
Ooh.
then Bethany's going to come on. We're also going to talk about more drugs. Stuff.
Oh.
Then Tina's going to come on. Get this. We're going to talk about drugs. Yep.
No.
All month long. Now we're going to talk about alcohol then. She's a drinker. Oh, we're not 232, are we? We're 233.
233.
So, all right. So this is not, for the first time in Talking Trash history, I don't know. We started a new show without the last show at least being posted. So let me see if I explain this to the entire world, how this fucking works. When you do a podcast, right, we choose to record it live.
Oh, I will.
Right as I say it, Jimmy. Right as I fucking say it.
I'm putting in a bid for a radio station tomorrow so we can have a transmitter in his backyard. Jesus.
That's the last time I want to hear that joke. Sorry. So listen to me. We record this show live. It's fresh. It's fun. It keeps us kind of on our toes. We do that for a reason. We have a lot of rehabs that watch. We have a lot of texts that tune in. So we record the show live. When the show's done, regardless of whether I edit it or not, I take control of talking the trash. I take the file into my possession, right? So whether I feel like chopping it up or uploading it, it comes to us first. So there's a handoff, and then it goes to Spotify. Spotify then says, you played 2 seconds of music, we're just going to cut your show off. So, all right. So what happened Sunday was I'm going to take the hit for Sunday. I thought Larry's going to be on. Let's play Chumbawamba. Let's get knocked down and get back up again. By golly, we'll just do it once. You know what I mean? Just for fun, because we've gotten away with some things lately. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Will just comes in and out. I guess there's a thunderstorm or something. So anyway, we take the show. So I go to put it on Spotify. This show will not pass. I knew it wouldn't, right? It's blatantly violating several thousand copyright laws, which is fine. No problem. We have 230 shows in a row. Beauty, right? Timmy, OCD, ADD, all that shit kicking in with TT. So we have this show. I have cut this show. I have sat here. I have listened to Jimmy say I have listened to Will disconnect. I've listened and watched this show on repeat since Sunday. So what is that? 72, 96 hours? I'm probably going to go insane, but I have been trying like hell to get this show to post, and it won't. So I'm a little worried that maybe we're like, repeat offenders, but I understand the first 5 or 6 cuts. The last 5 or 6, I don't understand. There's no music left in there. I'm just going to cut the show into 5 minutes and upload it. So anyway, that's what happens when you do a podcast. So right now, we were on top of the world on Sunday, weren't we, boys?
Oh, great. It was amazing.
Great conversation, back and forth, the fans. It was awesome. I don't know. I play 2 seconds of Jenny from the Block or something. Who knows? And there's something keeping the show from going. So had to give up about an hour and a half ago and come back here to do this. But we were like, boys, we were awesome on Sunday. And now I'm like, should we just stop at 2:33 and just call it a night here? Because I don't know if I'm doing this right. It's been fucking crazy. So I'm sure it'll work out. But that's what I've been doing. I haven't slept. I am losing my shit. My cat got into my Zen garden. I left the drawer open. I was showing you guys. God damn it. So this show is life is more than the show. But when the show doesn't go up, everything stops. So I'm still on Sunday. It's still Sunday to me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shut the fuck up. I'm gonna ask you guys a question. We're gonna do the question, and we're gonna bring in Papa Joey. His name's not even sober. Papa Joey.
It's on his birth certificate.
Anyway, so we're going to ask our question, we're going to answer it, and we're going to bring him on because not being good guest host. What's something that you thought you had to give up when you got sober that you eventually realized you didn't have to give up at all? Jimmy, you're on the spot. Go.
Easy, not on the spot. It's easy peasy. I thought I'd never have fun again, and I'm having more fun than ever. What I thought was fun had to have my addiction involved, and it wasn't fun because it was isolation. Because all I did was create isolation and depression and anger and frustration and resentment. Yep. And now it's just pure joy, total pure joy. And it's totally, I can still make an ass of myself, but I can remember what I did. It doesn't cost me a hell of a lot. I don't have to buy the entire bar of rounded drinks.
Where's my debit card?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't have any dents in my car, and it feels really good. And good. I can actually express myself. So there you go.
It's a good answer. I'll just real quick. I'll jump in. I feel the same way. I really did. I not that I thought I wouldn't have fun. I thought I'd never feel good again. I thought that was the best I could feel, and now I can't do that. And in my mind, my addict mind, I thought I'm never gonna feel good again. And in that childlike mind state, you don't realize what it's like to be an adult in recovery and look back and say, holy shit, I've come a long way. Feeling good wasn't about that instantaneous high. It's about life and doing the right thing and getting rewards. So our answer there is subjective. And for me, yeah, I never thought I'd have fun or laugh or even I'm not like Jimmy. I'm not puppies and rainbows. It's not everything great, no. But things are good. You know what I mean? And for Tim to say that, Tim was trying to kill himself, so things weren't good. So yeah, things are okay. And I understand now what that means. That I couldn't understand it early in recovery. So all our friends in rehab, the 25 people that are actually paying attention and trying to see what's going on out there, You know, guys, just this is a chance for you to utilize stuff that you don't even will never be your disposal again, possibly. So, Will, what is your answer to that?
I thought that I would have to give up the person or personality or my character as a person as I was, but then I
Yeah,
found out that I didn't have to give it up, but I wanted to change it, or I could make it however I wanted to, totally change it. But that's what I was afraid of. I was like, man, if I change, then like, I mean, like, I'm gonna be like a douchebag. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
well,
Like, but then I figured out that
Oh, no.
I can pick it, but I can
No.
say like kind of like an a la carte, like pick part of those things, the good and the bad. And I'm
sure.
like, dude, all I had to do was design it myself. So therefore,
Right.
I don't know. I was tripping about something that was so like minor.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
If that
We
makes
just
any
it,
sense.
so like so all we can say to those people that are 30 days sober and we're all 3 years sober, 4 years sober, just hang on. You know, I don't know what else to say. Just hang on. And you know what? They say the statistic is 1 in 10 of you will make it. I think that's a terrible statistic, and I think we're probably changing that now as a society. But yeah, that's pretty much what was happening. That's what we were doing to people. 2000, 2001, 1999. We're just fucking killing people. You know, recidivism. It was crazy. Will, how many times have you been to rehab?
Inpatient or outpatient, or all together?
Both. All together.
Like 14 or something like that,
Yeah. So like, you know, like
or 13. That's my lucky number. Probably 13.
there it is. Yep.
There you go.
That's his jersey number that he has.
Come on.
It's personalized.
Come
in his
on
house
now.
somewhere. So like for you, like did it like anytime you relapse, you're playing with your life, right? You could have gone out or killed somebody. My God, Will, is he doing it on purpose? Are you
No.
doing it on purpose? So anytime you relapse, like you could have died.
Can you hear me?
any one
Can
of
you
those
see
times.
me?
Yep. See,
Yes.
hear and see. Beauty.
Fuck. Here, I'm signing out because I'm in the backstage. But I know you can hear me. I love you guys.
Well,
remember
Okay.
that show Talkin' Trash when
Yeah, I
that,
do.
that show that used to exist?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be
It was a good-
right back.
Check him out. Like that. He beat me to it, for fucking Christ's sake. All right, let's get this guy in here.
Oh.
All right, his name is Papa Joey. That's what he wants to be called.
That's right.
All the graphics we made, don't worry about those. He's sober Papa. Just so you know, he's sober if you didn't know. So, Jimmy, give us a little intro here on our guy.
Oh, right. So he
Papa
is
Joey.
originally from up north, where Tim is in the New York area, I believe. he
Syracuse,
mentioned.
yep.
Syracuse, New York. He is 65 years old, coming up to 34 years in sobriety. His drug of choice was alcohol, and he's actually written a book called "Don't Drink or Use No Matter What." And he's also a Facebook influencer who does about 3 or 4 little shots a day and different.
What?
What-
I don't
what I
think
like
that's
him-
the
he is-
terminology, but yeah.
Well, okay. But what I'm saying, just his way of recovery, just laid back and straight to the point, just straight shooter. Great guy.
that's-
We're gonna love him.
That's interesting. He does 3 shows, so he just goes on like regularly.
Yeah, it just goes on
Instead-
like, hey, I was playing pickleball and I just love this and just outside and just laid back, right? And no
Interesting.
graphics and just talks and people
I
write in and
would've-
ask him questions.
Cool.
And it's really cool. It's actually we can just ask him like some of the topics that his viewers ask him. They DM him and they just say,
Okay.
hey, and he just talks about it during his next little snippet. So it's actually pretty cool.
Cool. All right. So that's interesting. I would have known all this, but I've been dealing with shit all week.
Yes, you
but
have been.
There he is.
There he is. Woohoo!
Papa Joey, welcome to the program. Thanks for putting up with us. Welcome. So he's coming up on 35 years,
34.
34 at the end of the month. Unbelievable. It's a lot of us that come into recovery early on. We see guys like you, and half of you guys were like, you guys don't understand us. And then there's like another half of you guys that seem to still keep it real, even though you've been sober 3 decades. And I can already tell that's kind of the guy you are. And we don't care either way. Everybody comes on. But like, you know, how do you keep it relatable? And then I'd like to hear what your answer to our question, and then maybe we'll segue and you can tell us the story of Papa Joey. So, how you doing, my friend? We'll start with that.
I'm doing fine, man. Thank you guys for inviting me. And
I look forward to this. Should be fun.
Well, you already know what you're doing. You already go on regularly. And seriously, I would have known everything about you, but I've been immersed in our own bullshit. So that's very cool. Now I'm going to be listening. I love like the starter stuff. The people that. How long have you been doing that, Joey?
Doing what now?
Uh,
Just going on Facebook?
yeah, yeah, doing live.
Once a couple of years ago, I started staying sober with Papa Joey on YouTube.
Okay.
And I did that for a while and I enjoyed it, but it got to the point where, like what you guys were doing here, it's a lot of pre production and then a lot of production. And,
Yeah.
I started doing my writing, then the editing, and then, putting all the title. Next thing I know, a 30-minute podcast turned into a 5 hour, 6 hour ordeal. I was
Really?
like, yeah, because I wanted to put I
I know.
wanted
Me
to
too.
really do something with it. And
Yep.
and I only did it because I was going to write a book. And then I thought, oh, it'd be easier doing a podcast. Somebody said, why don't you just go on YouTube? I was like, okay, that'd probably be easier than writing a book.
Yeah.
And it turned out it wasn't. It wasn't
No,
easy. A little different, little different.
yeah.
But years ago, I'm in the RV business, and years ago, I'm talking 2004, 2005, I started a radio show called what was it? Um, RV Time with RV Joey and Rock and Rodney. Just a couple of guys talking about the RV industry. So, I did that and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I just carried it over to this, and I'm a musician, used to getting in front of people and stuff like that. So it's fun. I
There's a
think it's
thrill
fun.
to it. I mean, we all, all of our problems are self-inflicted. There's really not any problems. We're growing as a show. But like I love like so you're a little older than I am. In my generation, it's the generational differences between like my dad was sending chain emails and I'm like looking at porn. You know what I mean? Like when the internet
Yeah.
when the internet came out, nobody knew what the fuck
Porn?
it was, right? Porn.
We knew what dial-up was.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I
For
did that.
me, it was my dad looking at Playboy, and I found it when I was 9 years old. So that was,
Yeah.
looking
Ch-
through.
Checks out. Yeah, I mean, my brother thought the world used to be black and white. He's stupid though. We're experiencing this technology explosion, but we're also experiencing a like a recovery change, like a way to do things differently, do a meeting online, these online meetings. COVID spawned this whole online generation of shit, which is actually a good thing. But like you seem to have cashed in on the live part of things. You said people ask you questions and stuff during a show. What's that like?
So what happened was, and Jimmy will understand this because he's seen it. So I'll go on. I went on and I just talked, about how I got sober.
Yeah.
That's it, and what I did. And some people, I talked at, early on I went to AA, and I talked a little bit about that. And then I had a job, and actually I got a job in an adult entertainment club. So I went in and I ran an adult entertainment club when I was in AA, and then I ended up being the manager, and it was, took a lot of time.
Yeah.
So the minute I said I left AA for a while, and then all the attacks came. The typical, you're not sober, you're this and that. So
There we go.
I tried to avoid that, but it seemed like every time I posted something, I tried to take it into my whole philosophy was, and even with the book, is try to get people who are struggling to get sober, to stay sober, to go get some help. I don't care where you get help.
There you go.
I really don't. I don't care where a person gets help, as long as they get help. And that's what my book was all about. Just, I told stories about me when I was young and what led me to what I thought was my drinking. And, going back when I was in AA, I mean, I don't know how you want me to frame this.
You're good. We're wide open here.
But, the title of the book, was I Don't Drink or Use No Matter What. And the reason I titled that
that way was because when I first went to AA, I'll talk a little about that before in a minute, but I met a guy the first day, and his name was Jack, a great guy, and he
It's
come
always
up
a
to me at
Jack.
the meeting.
It's
Yeah,
always a Jack.
he comes at the end of the meeting and says, "Hey, man," he says, "Hey, Joey, listen, don't drink. Come to a meeting, and the rest is all conversation." I was like, "Yeah, all right, I'm out of there." It was a noon
Yeah.
meeting. I got out. I didn't want to be there. But I kept on thinking, what the hell does he mean? Now I understood don't drink. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Yep.
Go to a meeting. That's all they talk about. It's come to a meeting, come to a meeting, come to a meeting.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
the rest was all conversation. What does that mean? About 3 or 4 days after that, I figured it out. The rest is all bullshit. You know, and that's
Fun.
what, when I talked to him afterwards about it, he said the rest is noise.
Yep.
You want to, you want to focus on not putting the first drink in you.
All right.
And that's what I did. And for me, the hard part was when I was getting sober. I mean, I'll just tell you a little backstory. It may be
Yeah. Tell
easier.
us. Oh, yeah. Why don't we do this, Joey? Tell us the story of Joey, and then we'll take it from there.
I'll tell you like how I did it in my book, basically.
Perfect.
So I
Perfect.
talked. I first got into the taste of alcohol when I was 6 years old. My grandparents both came from my grandparents on my dad's side both came from Portugal. I go visit my grandparents down in the basement. He made homemade wine. So I would go in the basement with him, and he'd get a little shot glass and put a little homemade whiskey in it, called Jurapia, I think it was called. Very sweet. I liked it. Didn't do anything for me, but I was hanging out with my grandfather. I loved him. So that's what I did. But for dinner or lunch, they would also give me a little wine mixed with ginger ale. Because in Portugal, you would do that when you're kids. I mean, that
Yeah.
was part of their culture. No big
Right.
deal. Now, my parents didn't do that. But when I was at my grandparents, they allowed me to do that. So, I go to Catholic school. When you're in third grade, you got to become an altar boy. So I became an altar boy. Next thing I know, I'm behind church one day and I unscrew that wine. And, oh, man, this wine's pretty sweet. Now, I'm 8 years old, brother. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not in high, I'm 8 years old and I can't wait till the priest leaves so I can unscrew it and just take a couple quick gulps, nothing. I don't know why I was doing it other than I
Yeah.
was getting away with it. And it tasted sweet. It was sweet tasting wine.
Right.
Started playing drums at the age of 6, taking lessons. When I was 12, I was good enough to join the musicians union. So I was playing out like weddings and parties at 12 years old. My mom had to take me to the gig, help me carry my drums in. And I'm playing with guys 40 years old, right? My dad's a musician, so I used to go and watch his band, and then I started playing with his band, then I had a trio. But back then, I would, sneak around someplace if I was playing a party and get a little beer or something and drink it. And next thing, I find myself in eighth grade bringing a bottle of whiskey to school. A little bottle of
Hmm.
whiskey in my backpack, or not, suitcase or whatever, with a backpack, whatever. So I hid it in the band room where I had my snare drum. So I used to leave class, go down to the basement, and they always had bingo on Sundays because we go to a Catholic school and in a Catholic area, they have bingo. And
Sure.
bingo has soda. So I'd go and break into that room, grab some Sprite, pour a little whiskey in it, and I'd have a highball, when I was in eighth grade, and
All
get
right.
back up to get back up to class. But something happened in seventh grade to me. I found out I was into sports back then. Yeah, it was football, baseball, and basketball. That's
Right.
what we did. A group of us. All of a sudden, I find out in seventh grade when I'm taking a physical for to play basketball that they found a heart murmur. So then I had to go see a specialist, and then the specialist tells my parents can't play sports anymore. He's got a problem with his valve. So no running, no nothing. And that was like somebody just hit me in the gut when my mother told me. I mean, it destroyed me. and not being able to play in the basketball team. And, for a long time, I thought I was this broken kid.
Mm.
And at one point, I heard my parents talking to another couple that was at our house, and they didn't know, I was listening or whatever. And I heard them tell my parents told this couple that they were afraid because, they were afraid that I was going to die because of my heart condition. So I heard that, and I didn't tell anybody, I didn't do anything, but I just internalized it, thinking, what's going on. So I ended up in high school. I played in the band, so I was known as the drummer of the school and everything. But for me, my release was getting, drinking on the weekends. And back when I was growing up, it was pretty easy to get booze.
Oh,
I
yeah.
always had somebody to get beer or some whiskey or whatever.
Sure.
So, I mean, I'm not going to get into all that, but I drank heavy in high school
Yeah.
and didn't get in any trouble. My father told me when I went to high school, you better never let me catch you smoking or drinking. I was good at it, so he never caught me. So, and I was smoking, which was stupid because I got a heart condition. Here I am smoking and drinking. It doesn't make sense. Um, Got out of school, played with a bunch of bands, and I just spent most of my time drinking, playing music, and chasing women, and not necessarily in that order. Well, however,
Right.
those three things were the main thing.
Yep.
Uh, all my jobs I had to work jobs that allowed me to drink. I had to be able to get out at a certain time so I could go out drinking or go out and, fool around with some women and stuff. But I ended up, I'll fast forward everything. Met a
You're
woman,
good. You're good. You're good.
met this woman. She knew I was a drinker, and she was younger. I was 24. She was 18, I think, 19. Her father lived across the street from us. Ended
Attaboy.
up, yeah, ended up, getting her pregnant, and I did the right thing because I came from my father told me this, and
Tell him.
he says we were out to a bar. And so he says to me, I won't tell him my ex-wife's name, but he says, so what are you going to do, now? I said, what are you talking about? He says, would your girlfriend? I said, didn't I do enough? She's pregnant. I mean, well, what can I do? He says, well, let me tell you this. If you marry her and you get divorced, she's considered a divorced woman. If you don't marry her, she's considered a used broad. That's how they talk back then.
Yeah.
So I thought about it. We got married. I was still drinking and, playing music and stuff, not chasing women because I was married. They had a second child. And one day, I mean, I'll fast forward everything. We ended up moving to Florida because I came down here to go to film school. And I wanted to come alone for the first 6 months and then have my wife and kids join me after my first 6 months. Because I was 31 years old at the time. I was always a lousy student, but I wanted to come and do this. So at the last minute, she decided not to let me come down here alone because her mother said, I don't think it's a good idea to let Joey go to Florida alone. Probably not a smart move. So she came with my daughters, which I was happy. But I was still drinking. And things got a little out of control with my drinking down here. And it finally came to the point we were arguing and fighting. She wanted to go back home. And a long story short was she went up to visit my family and her family up in Syracuse. She brought one of my daughters, the smallest one. And I had the oldest one with me. She was 6 at the time. And some friends of mine, musician friends of mine, called me. They were up in Daytona. And they said, hey, we're in town. We want to come down and see you. And I was like, great, man. And it just turned out my birthday was the 27th of August. And I was planning, seriously, on quitting drinking. I knew I had to quit drinking. I knew it. I was done. But they were coming on a Saturday, 2 days after, that. So I said, all right, I'll let them come down. So I went and bought a bunch of booze. They came down. I got effed up. Had a good time, I think. The next
Probably.
day, yeah. Well, they were late though. Part of it's their fault. No, but they were supposed to. They were
It's
supposed.
always somebody else's fault.
Yeah, they were supposed to be down here at noontime. So I
Right.
went, bought beer and everything. I started drinking at 11 to get the buzz going. Got somebody to take care of my daughter, and it's 12 o'clock. They're not here. 12:30. You're not there. So I'm still drinking. All of a sudden, there's no cell phone at the time. So it's like next thing I know, I got like 8 beers in me. Now I got to go to the store and get some more booze because I'm drinking it before they got here.
They're so selfish, those.
I know. So they finally show up. We party all night. They crashed at my place. The next morning, they go to breakfast. They said they'll be back. They never came back. And I was,
I'm shocked.
yeah,
Really.
I was, what's going on? Because I drank with the guitar player was a good friend of mine. We drank all the time. He was a good friend of mine. Called me up, and I guess I was really, screwed up that night. Said some things, did some things, and they said we're not coming back. We're not coming. They were already in Daytona, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, you gotta be kidding me, man. And I knew my wife was gonna find out, and I remember going into this was on a Saturday, in the afternoon or Sunday in the afternoon. And I go in the bathroom. I got tears running down my face, and I'm going, what did I do? I can't keep doing this. I can't keep doing this. And I said, I'm done. I quit. I'm gonna stop. I can't do this. But I'm shaking. I'm just shaking. So I had to go get something to drink. So I go to the refrigerator, open up the refrigerator, and there's 4 cans of beer left in the refrigerator. So I said, shit, I just said I wasn't going to drink anymore. I said, here's the deal.
Negotiates. Here we go.
I'm going to drink these 4 beers, and then I'm done. I'm
There you
done.
go. Yep.
So I popped the first one. I'm sitting at the table, and, basically did my personal inventory there as I drank my last 4 beers. And it was like saying goodbye to an old friend. Everyone went down, and the more thoughts about what happened, what's the future going to look like? My wife was still out of town. She was going to be home in 2 days. I'm sure she already knew what was going on. And I said, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. But before I got sober, or before I quit, I was a big fan of Tony Robbins. And I did a 30-day personal power program that he had out back in the 90s.
Mhm.
And he tells people, if you ever want to do something, you've got to first you got to decide to do it, then you got to take massive action.
Yeah.
So after I drank my last 4 beers, I, got the cans. I walked out of my apartment, threw them in the dumpster. I could hear the, hit clanging on the bottom.
Yep.
And I'm walking back to my apartment, and I'm going, what am I going to do? What's my next step, right?
Mhm.
And I remember Tony saying, you got to take massive action. And my wife's aunt had stopped drinking. And I remember her telling us that she stopped by going to AA. And I'm like, you know what? I'll check out. What's this AA? So back then, you guys are probably too young. We had a thing called a phone book,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I do
Uh,
remember.
Okay. Jimmy, you probably know.
Oh,
But
hell
these young
yeah.
kids.
A phone what?
A phone book. I know that stupid thing about this thick, with phone numbers in it. So I looked up Alcoholics Anonymous. I called. This was on a Sunday. They said we got a meeting. We open up at 10 o'clock the next, Monday. So I brought my daughter to school, and 10 o'clock I went to the AA room and just said, hey, I'm here for AA or whatever. Well, the meeting's not until noon. I'm like, oh shit, no. So I said, all right, I'll be back. I looked. Well, first I read they had the 12 steps on the wall, and I'm like, oh, no, I'm a Christian. I was a Christian then.
Oh, dear.
I was a Catholic. I was a Catholic, Christian, whatever. And I looked and I said, well, okay, it's got God here. All right, this is cool. All right. So I went home and I'm like, it's 11 o'clock. Oh, I can't go back.
Oh,
It's
yeah, an hour.
11:15. I ain't going back. Finally, I convinced myself to go. So I went back and I walked in, I sat down in this sweet look all the way in the back. Nobody was in the room yet. The sweet lady comes and sits right next to me. This older woman, her name was Joan. She introduced herself to me. And she says, "This your first time?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, you're okay. You're in a good place. And I said, "All right." So they put the whole meeting towards the new guy. I didn't remember anything. And that's when I met
Hmm.
Jack. I met Jack.
I did
Came
too.
back,
Mine. Yep.
you know, came back
Jack
the
and
next
everywhere.
came back the next day, went to the meeting. After that meeting, at 1 o'clock, I had to go pick up my wife at the airport. So I pick her up. My little daughter's 4 years old. She runs up to me, "Daddy, Daddy, missed you," kissing me and all that. My wife don't say a fucking word. So,
Why? Wonder
so we,
why?
so we get in the car, get in the car, and I'm driving, and she just says, "Oh, you had a nice weekend, didn't you?"
Oh
I
shit.
said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah." I said, "But I want you to know. I mean, I went to an AA meeting today. I went to one yesterday. I'm done
Lo-
drinking." "Yeah,
Lord of
okay.
mercy. Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're done, right?" So the next day, she wakes me up from a sound sleep and says, "I want a divorce." I'm like, "What?" She says, "I want a divorce." I said, "Go to bed. I'm not going to, just go to bed." So 2 days later, I get served papers. I'm 5 days sober and trying to get my
Yeah.
head wrapped around. Now
Yep.
I got the woman telling me she's leaving and she's bringing my kids back to New York. I'm like, this is fucking
Disa-
nuts.
Disaster.
Yeah.
So she told me she was going to stay until Christmas, let me, see the kids till Christmas. I figured, man, I got some time. Maybe this thing will work out.
Yeah, fix it. Yeah.
Right? Well, all of a sudden, around Thanksgiving, she said, or before Thanksgiving, it had to be right around the end of October. She said, "We're leaving in 2 weeks." I was like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me." So all this time, we're in an apartment. She's packing boxes and stuff. My little daughters are looking like, "What's going on?" The youngest one was was a daddy's girl. And so was the oldest one, but she kind of, was going like, "What's going on? What's going on?"
Yeah.
So it was November 13th. It was Friday the 13th,
Oh my god.
1992.
I know that day. Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
I was born then.
I had to pack my daughters and my ex-wife into a U-Haul, and I watched them drive away to New York. Now I have no family down here. I'm in school, no job because I'm in school. Uh, Wondering what am I doing?
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be bettering myself by coming down here and going to school. I quit drinking. I thought that was going to be a good deal, and everything's fucking falling apart. So, um, got through that night. My family called, and I was talking with them. I was a basket case. So
Yeah.
I went to sleep, and the next morning I got up. It was on a Saturday. I knew there was a 10:30 meeting. But it was a 10:30 to 12. I think it was 10:30 meeting, and I figured, like, I'm gonna go do something to keep busy because I was anxious. And I saw clean the apartment, which I'd never done before. So
Hmm.
I uh, I go to the kitchen. I think the cleaning supplies got to be underneath the sink. So I open the cabinet, and way in the back, there's a
Sure
fucking
enough.
bottle of vodka from my last night. I'm like, shit. I pulled that vodka out, and I was like, nobody's gonna know. And now the tears are flowing. The pain in my gut is, when you break up, everything's screwing up.
Yep.
I
Yep.
grabbed a glass, I grabbed that bottle, and I'm like, nobody's gonna know. My family won't know. Nobody in AA is gonna know. I can do this. I can do this. So I poured it, and it was like Jack was standing next to me when I heard, "Don't drink, go to a meeting."
Yep.
I poured it down the drain, and I poured the bottle down the drain, and I just left, and I went to the meeting. The important thing for me that I learned right after that, it hit me. I'm in control, meaning I made a decision not to put that drink in me when I could have,
Right.
right? So that was important for me to realize that my sobriety is totally up to me. I can hear everybody's story. I can,
Sure.
listen to all that. And I was new in the program stuff at the time, but it just dawned on me that it's up to me.
Yep.
And so I'm going through this stuff with through my divorce and stuff, living alone. There's one thing I wanted to do was do some stand-up comedy. So I entered a competition, and it was on a Monday night. I'm like, nobody's going to be on Monday night. Who the fuck's going to comedy show on a Monday night?
Exactly. Yeah.
And it was in Cocoa
good.
Beach. It was in Cocoa Beach. I show up, and it's packed with 250 people there, and there were 6 contestants, and I was told I was going to be number 4. We had to do 8 minutes, and I'm like, oh my lord! So
Long.
it's a long thing, right?
It
So
is.
the first comedian goes up, and all I could see was everybody at the bar and the beer. It's all I could see was beer, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, man, I'm like 3.5 months, 4 months sober, man, And all of a sudden they go, okay, contestant number 2. Now I'm getting my stomach is bothering me. I got to calm down. I got to calm down. I'm going to have a beer. I'm going to have a beer. Contestant number 3. So I go, fuck it. So I go up to the bar. And when the bartender looked at me, I don't know why I said it to this day. I just said, can I get a bottle of water? And she gave me a bottle of water. Next thing I know, I got called up on stage, did my set, and when the whole thing was said and done, I ended up winning that night.
Right on.
And so I'm driving home, and I'm thinking, oh, this is great. Nobody is home to celebrate with me.
Yep.
But I said, that's good. But I said, another lesson I learned, I wanted to drink again, but I didn't get it. So it was important for me to begin understanding that my sobriety was totally up to me in any situation.
Yeah.
And in AA, when I was going to the meetings, I kept on seeing a lot of people. I mean, there was a lot, I'll be honest with you, there's things because of my Christian faith and there's a few things I didn't like about it being in the program. And I'm not going to talk about this. I know you
I
guys.
gotcha. We know.
But I kept an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing, I just kept on hearing, the thing with Jack, don't pick up. And then I used to hear people in the rooms just talk about, yeah, this is my third time. This is my third time. This is my, I relapsed. I slipped, all the excuses. So I used to think, well, I don't drink. I'm not going to drink no matter what. That was my slogan. I'm not drinking no matter what. And then I added, and no matter what means no matter what. So that's the real title of my book. Don't drink or use no matter what. And no matter what means no matter what. No fucking excuses.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So I didn't give myself any yeah buts. Because a lot of times when I talk to people, I kept on hearing, yeah, but you don't understand. Yeah, but you don't understand. I'm like, no, I understand because I went through it. But I didn't pick up a drink. That's it. And, when I was working in the nightclubs, now, 4 years sober, I'm a DJ in a strip club. I don't drink. I quit smoking. Now I got naked women around, but I'm being a nice guy. It could have been like a kid in a candy store, right?
Yeah.
But I just did my job and everything, and stayed sober. And I talked to people about my sobriety, and some people got sober because they knew they had a problem, and my whole thing was about trying to help. Not help anybody, but if they ask me what I do, I tell them.
Mm-hmm.
And when I left AA, it wasn't because anything tremendous that bothered me. It was time for me to go. I went back briefly, and I won't get into the whole story, but I went back briefly to help a friend out. He wanted me to go, so I went. And in order for me to do it, I just said, listen, I'll do Thursday night coffee bar. It gives me an excuse to go there. So I went this one Thursday, and the whole meeting, for some reason, they were just trashing family members. And
I've been there. Yep.
it bothered me because my family, I did a lot of bad stuff. My family was always there. They weren't happy. They weren't proud of what I did.
Right.
But, and I could have made all kinds of excuses. My mom this, my dad this. But I was fortunate. I have a good family. And something just got into me when I raised my hand. I listened to like 10, 15 people talk. I said, listen, guys, I can't do this anymore. I said, here's your key. I can't sit here and listen to people trash family members. I said, I think about what I put my parents through. And maybe you guys should focus on what you did to them instead of what they did to you. And that was the last time, that I was to an AA meeting. I've sent people there in my book. I tell people, I got to tell my story. And I tell them it's a great place to start. Go with an open mind. It's not a
100%.
life. It's not a life sentence. Now, some people disagree with me, and I don't care. I don't. I can only tell you what worked for me. I can only say what worked for me.
And that's what we're interested in.
Yeah, and because throughout my time in AA, I went to different programs, and back when, did you guys ever hear of a thing called Pal Talk? Does that mean anything to you guys, Pal Talk?
It does mean so. Why does it mean something to me?
No.
It was an online forum where you would go in. They had all kinds of different rooms.
I can
And
see like a logo, like there's like
yeah, but it was kind of like a Facebook type thing, but where you could do live chats, and they had rooms for music,
chat rooms. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
porn rooms and stuff, and then they had AA stuff. So once in a while I would pop in, but it was totally, kind of like this. It was just people talking, and if people didn't like what you said, they'd mute you and stuff like that. I would do that and check it out. But I'm the type of guy, I've always asked questions. I just couldn't have somebody tell me, just do this and shut up.
Yeah.
Just do this and shut up. If I've got a question, I'm going to ask you. And I don't mean to be rude, but I said, this doesn't sit well with me. Explain to me. And, after a while, the explanations weren't coming. But I met some really super, super people. I'm friends with quite a few of them still. After I wrote my book, the first person I went to was a lady I got sober, which is 2 weeks. She's got her sobriety date was 2 weeks before mine. And I sent the book to her. I said, I need you to read this to make sure, and she did for me. But my whole thing, and I'll tell you the hard part. So I had my daughters. My oldest daughter came to live with me, and yeah, she ended up getting around some, kids that she shouldn't have been in. In high school. But she left home and didn't graduate high school, and just got into the drugs. And she was proud of me because every year for my sobriety date, when she was living with her mom, she'd call, send me stuff, cards, and my youngest one too. But my oldest one was so proud, and she got caught up in the drugs. Went to jail a few times, got arrested a few times. She had 2 overdoses. The second one, she had a mask on her, or what do you call it? Ventilator. And when she came to, I had Marchman acted her, meaning she was going to go to
Florida's got Marchman and Baker.
So when she came to, I had to tell her, and she went to the NA meetings, AA meetings and stuff. She was a smart girl. And the minute I told her that, she's like, Dad, I could teach those classes. I could teach that stuff. Rarely ever seen a person fail who thoroughly followed our stuff, and she's going on and on. But I stopped her and I said, look where you're at. I said, look where you're at. And the thing that bothered me the most, and this may, I don't want to upset anybody, but I have to be honest. When I got sober, it was hard for me in the rooms to say, hey, I'm Joey, I'm an alcoholic. I believe words are powerful.
Yeah.
So for me, after a while, in my head, when I said I'm Joey, I'm an alcoholic, I heard in my head, I'm Joey and I drank alcoholically. So that helped me get through something I didn't want to say, but I said it because that's what the room wants you to say.
Yes.
But
Right.
every time my daughter and I would have a discussion, she'd say, "Yeah, but Daddy, that's what us addicts. This is what addicts do. We relapse, Dad. Us addicts do this." And I kept on saying, "You're much more than an addict. That's not who you are. You're
Right.
not an addict. You're not an addict." I got a knock on my door one day, and she says, "Dad, I need a pair of shorts. I'm gonna go to, I'm gonna go to treatment and everything." And I heard that before from her, so gave her some shorts. She looked terrible. She was a beautiful girl, and she just, the drugs kind of hurt her.
Yeah.
And she was with her boyfriend was a real scumbag. I would never meet him because I know if I was in the same room with him, then one of us was going to go to jail, and it was going to be me.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but then I came home from work one day and there was a note from the police department, card to call him. So I'm like, she got arrested again, son of a bitch. And then I called and found out that she died of a drug overdose. And that was 6 years ago. It was July 11th, 2020 is when she died and or overdose. And then I find out I got a call on a Wednesday. They told me they found her on a Monday, but they couldn't identify her from her uh, for whatever reason, identification purposes. But they said that she had been in a car since Saturday. She backed in Florida in the heat. So when I called the coroner's office because I wanted to go see my daughter, they said, "No, you can't come. You don't want to come here." But when I'm talking to the coroner, he told me, which the police never told me, that there was somebody else in the car with her that also died of an overdose. So for 2 days, they were in the Florida sun in the car,
Oh my god.
deceased, you know? So, I mean, that's tough, man. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to give her a mass. My family wanted to do the mass thing up in Syracuse.
Mm-hmm.
But then COVID was there. So
Right.
I couldn't go up there for COVID. So the following year, I finally went up and we did the mass. But an interesting thing, though, when my daughter came to my house last time, she wrote something on a pad on my refrigerator. One of those when you have like those whiteboard type things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw it. I never saw it until the day she passed. And all of a sudden, I saw what she wrote. The last time she was in my house, and it's still up there. She wrote, "Love you to the moon and back. I'm doing this, I promise. Love, Michelle."
Mm.
And it's still there. It's still there. It'll always be there. And if it ever fades, it fades and everything.
Can we see
And
it?
she was the one. Yeah, it's in. Hold 1 second. I don't know if you could see it. You know, I don't know if you can. Can you read that?
Yeah.
Or
Yep.
is it the glare too much?
That's great.
So yeah, I
And
still keep that after all these
Yeah.
years.
she meant that. She meant
Yeah.
it.
Oh
She
yeah,
she you know.
yeah. Listen, and for me, I was at peace. I know she wasn't going to struggle anymore, and she came to church one time with me, and when they did an altar call, she went and accepted Christ. And she was always, when she was in prison, she wanted, in jail, where she wanted me to send her Christian books and everything. She had a faith, but she just couldn't get out of her head that I'm not gonna say she wasn't an addict. She did drugs, but I didn't want her to believe that that's what her life was all about. And this girl was beautiful. She was a great singer. She would light up a room wherever she went. She just had that bubbly personality. And in the book, I had told her before I was going to write a book, And she kept on saying, "Hey, when are you going to write your book? I want to read it. I want to read it." And I used to say, "Michelle, you already know everything about it. You already know what I'm going to put in it." And, so the book, a lot is a promise that, I made to her. And so when I talk to people, I don't like to, and Jimmy will understand this. When I post stuff on Facebook, it's really to help people.
Yeah.
But then when people start attacking me and saying things, I respond only because sometimes, and I try to do it in a nice way, because if I say something, I mean it.
Right.
And if I don't stick up for what I believe in and let somebody on Facebook say, like for instance, you're not a real alcoholic, which I could care less, but those type of things, or one guy says you're not even drink, you probably weren't even an alcoholic, or some trash like that. I don't want somebody to think that when I talk that I'm full of shit. I stand up for what I believe. And I'm not saying people got to do what I have to or what I did. I don't do that. Like this weekend, this past weekend, this woman that I know, she's a school counselor, and I talked her into getting on TikTok a year ago because I said, "Man, you got all this stuff. The kids would love you." You think so? Yeah, she's got a big following now on TikTok. And I went on one of her podcasts to talk to kids in high school about, the drinking and the drugging because, that's where they're getting it.
Yeah.
And so that's basically what I try to do. I don't want anybody to think I'm not a know-it-all. I didn't write the book like step one, do this, step two, do this, step three.
I hate when things do that.
Yeah.
Steps.
Yeah.
No, I'm just fucking around. I'm just fucking. I know.
Everybody's different. I don't.
Yeah.
What worked for. Here's what works 100% of the time. You don't drink or use no matter what. No matter what means no matter what. That'll keep you sober and clean. Now afterwards, you got to do something. But if you stick with that, if that's in your mind all the time, like when with Jack with me, that's all I needed. Some of the times when the rough times in my life where I didn't want to, hear somebody's lecture. I didn't want to hear, well, I don't want go to a meeting. So
Yeah.
I just know I can't pick up a drink and I'll get through it however I can get through it. And that's the kind of what I try to put out there for people. Or for
Joey, it rings so true with me. I had not a counselor, a tech at like maybe the first or second rehab I went to, and her name was Miss G, and every rehab has a Miss G, right? Well, she's black, she's like a little heavy, but she don't tell you where to go. No, I can't smoke there.
That's your
But
mama.
yeah, right. But she's heart of gold, one of those. And she would always say that she just don't pick up no matter what. She would say those very words, and she would say, if you don't pick up, you can't use. And I heard it, and I left the rehab. Things happened years later, and I was in such a bad place. I'm a dirty drug addict, dude, from Philly, bro. Like I'm not good in Philadelphia, and like I remember I was in such a bad place that all I could remember was don't pick up no matter what. That's how low I've come to. All I could understand was that very simple concept. If I don't pick up, I don't use. If I don't use, I can't overdose and die. And early on, sometimes it's the simplicity that's attractive to people. And I think you found something there with that. I agree with you 100%.
If I look when I went through the steps and all that, which I did, I went to all the step meetings, all the 12 and 12 meetings, the whole thing. So I was into Tony Robbins. I was into Wayne Dyer. So I was into that sort of stuff. I like listening to people discuss things like that. I just didn't like people saying, if you don't do this, this will happen to you. If you don't do this, this will happen to you.
Right.
And with me having heart disease, when I first walked in AA, somebody told me that I have alcoholism. It's a deadly disease. It's going to kill me. And I'm like, seriously, I was like, who the fuck are you talking to? You know, I've got heart disease.
Yeah, I got real
Um,
problems over here.
Yeah.
you know, I got a father at the time dying of colon cancer. If somebody told him, hey, don't eat this or drink that, you're going to be fine. I think he would have done it, but it ended up taking his life.
Yep.
You know, so, and I thought, what qualifies you to tell me this stuff? And,
Right.
or tell me if I don't do if I don't do this and that, I'll drink again. If I don't do this, I'm going to drink again. And when we used to have the meetings, I would say that once in a while to people. I said, I don't think we should be telling people that because they, like you said, you could be home, you're alone, you're bummed out, and maybe you didn't go to a meeting for 2 days, and you really want to pick up that drink or the drug, and you all you hear is, "Yep, don't go to a meeting. You're going to pick up again. You're going to drink again." That's all I need to hear. They said I would do it, so I'm going to
Right.
do it.
I'll show you. You're right.
It works both ways. You got
Yeah.
that. You
It
got that
does.
excuse to pick up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't think personally, I never did that to anybody. I don't believe in scaring somebody into sobriety because it never works. I mean, maybe once in a while, but
Here or there, but not really. No.
Mm-hmm.
you got it. And when people, I've sent a couple friends of mine recently had some problems, and I had one of them go to AA, and there was this one girl went to this high school with this counselor, got drunk in school, and this woman that I know gave her my book, and and I also wrote I've got a 31-day journal, like your first 31 days in sobriety. It's
Mm-hmm.
don't drink or use no matter what, 31-day personal journal. She got a copy of that. She went through the 31 days, and she goes to AA meetings on the weekends because she's still in school, and she's doing very good. She got her mom and dad, her father drinks, got her father into it. And a funny story, or an interesting story, the guitar player who I got drunk with the last time, he's older than me. He's 78 years old. Great guitar player, fucking great guitar player. But we were talking, I told him about my book. I sent him the book. And the last time I talked with him, he had 3 months of sobriety. And he was sober 3 months. Stopped drinking. I don't know how long he's going to do it for. But at 70 something, 78 years old, decided, maybe he's gonna stop drinking. So however you affect people, just I think just do it in a positive way.
Yeah.
And Jimmy, you'll understand because he's seen all the stuff people post on my feed. It's like politics, right? You like one side, you're trash. You like the other side, you're trash. So you can't win.
And we're
So
trash as a show, so.
yeah. But really, people, PM me, ask me, like, what's your opinion on this? What's your opinion on this? So I'll say, hey, I got a message from somebody, asked me this. This is my take. And I leave it open. And like the last one I did is somebody asked me, do you think the big book needs to be updated?
Yeah.
I put that in. Holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're talking, people were coming at me left and right and calling me all kinds of names. And I'm like, dude, I had this one kid. He's like, I think he said he's a year sober. This was a couple of weeks ago. And telling me I need to get back into the program. I don't know what I'm talking
Will.
Mm-hmm. 'Cause I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, okay. So I get it. I don't get a kick out of it because I take it serious. Because I look at it, what if somebody is actually on my page looking for some help? And I've had people say that it's opened their eyes and they like the way I present things. What happens if they see all the trash? That person's not going to get the help.
True.
Or maybe, who knows? I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are trashy. You know, I mean, big time, huge. I don't
We
even like. I think it's disgusting.
we don't know.
So
We're at a point where we're
yeah,
like, everybody's fine as far as we're concerned, but like we're not going to tell you what to do, so don't tell us what
yeah,
to do. People don't
that's
like
it.
that biblical approach that
Hmm.
if you do this, and like people hate
Hmm.
that shit, and they walk into AA, and I feel bad for AA to a degree where they get a bad rap because
It's the
they
people.
they exist where something doesn't
Exactly.
exist. There's good
Hmm.
people. If you're in a sober living, you got nothing to do. Should we get high tonight? Let's go to the AA meeting down the street. We'll walk down there. And like
Really.
people, well, yeah, absolutely. And like me and Will and like our generation, a lot of
Hmm.
us are going to rehab, getting kicked into a sober living house, no money, no nothing. And the only thing to do is to go down to an AA meeting.
Oh, okay,
Now
I get
that's
it.
now truthfully, that's not the only thing to do. There's a million things you can do. There's a podcast you can watch, but like in that moment, you're just a nobody. You got nothing. You got no food. Oh, they got free coffee. Let's go down there and hang out for a little bit. And it supplies people a place to go and get the support that they need. And if it's too much, it was too much for me. I did it all, I fucking whole thing, and I stepped back. I was like, I can't do the podcast and that same thing. And I stepped back, and I had some lady go, "You ever read the traditions?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're on my fucking wall. I understand what AA is, and I agree with it, and it's fine. But I'm not going to showcase it or champion it. We'll read their readings because that's how I was taught in recovery, early recovery, to recover. There's nothing else out there. I mean, it's like we were destined to come back to that rehab and just keep this cycle
Oh,
going.
really? Okay.
Yep. So
I
AA
didn't know.
is a place. NAAA, Celebrate Recovery. These rooms, yeah, you're gonna go and you're gonna meet Karen, and she's gonna piss you off, and whatever. It just
Yeah, I
find
mean,
find your
no, you're
herd. We
right.
tell people all the time, just find your
You know,
people. You'll find.
there was this guy Charlie, just a super guy. My first year in AA, probably first year and a half. Just a funny son of a bitch. Every time he'd make the rooms laugh. Well, it was around Christmas time. I walk in and I see people crying. I'm like, what's wrong? They said, Charlie's dead. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
what? He was just in the meeting a couple of days ago. What happened? We don't know. We don't know. And then finally somebody said, he hung himself. I'm like, holy shit. So we had the meeting and everybody's talking. And there's this one guy walks out and I'm sitting at the coffee bar and this guy, is a loudmouth. Know what the problem with Charlie was? He never worked the fucking program. And I was about a little over a year sober. And I looked at that guy, and he was a big guy. I said, fuck you.
Yeah,
Who
right
the
in your face.
fuck you think you are? The guy, we don't even know what happened. And it turns out he was on some type of heart medication. And that heart medication that he was taking triggers, unfortunately, suicide. And I know that to be true because my uncle brother, because he was my uncle on my mom's side, her sister's husband. Her brother ended up doing the same thing. He hung himself, and he
Jeez.
was on some kind of medication. But when you hear people, yeah, they weren't working a program. What
Yeah.
are you talking about?
Hey, Will,
What
real quick.
program? You
Will,
know?
when you saw somebody question me, how did I handle that? Well,
Get ready for the show. That was
Get what?
Oh, it was. I loved it.
Will loved it. Holy shit! We went to an AA camping thing, and the girl that I invited,
Oh shit!
I didn't.
Here we go.
The girl that I invited, I didn't want to sleep with. I had no interest in. And at 11 o'clock at night, I'm like, man, my back hurts. I hate fucking life. And she's like, maybe you should go get another AA meeting. And I'm like,
Oh yeah, that'll
that
work.
was it.
Yep.
I'm
Now we're at a
like,
campsite. Now we're at a campsite, and people are sleeping, and all I hear is, and like, dude, I don't get embarrassed, but I'm like, I'm like, y'all shut
well, like
up.
I lit the candle, and she fucking attacked me for an hour.
And then it didn't
Irrelevant.
stop.
Oh, wow.
It didn't, and not me, it was
But
her.
And she and she relapsed 3 weeks earlier. And I'm like, I'm like, who are you to? I'm like, anyway, we were in the entire campground, and then we did a podcast the next morning from the campground, and everybody's showing up. It's fucking ridiculous. The shit we do when we're early in recovery. I don't know, man. I was. It felt like my heart was in the right place. I wanted to help somebody who's struggling, and it just all fucking blew up. But I hate that. Everybody hates being told, you're doing it wrong, and this is going to be the consequence. Nobody wants to hear that fucking shit. People want to hear. They want to see that you're doing it right and getting benefits from that. That's
typically projection from those people. Of what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So
it was like the first time I went to. They made me. You got to come to the dance. We're having an AA dance. You got to come.
Oh, those are.
So I walked in and it was like high school. The women on one side, the guys on the other. Right. And lights are on. And the ladies comes up to me. Come on, Joey, let's dance. We can still have fun. And I looked at my buddy and I said, I'm going. And there was a nightclub down the road, and I went to that nightclub. I was about 7 months sober. I just went to the nightclub. I wasn't drinking at this. I just couldn't see, me in that atmosphere. Nothing wrong with it, but I'm not going to force myself to have fun because, hey, I'm sober,
Yep.
But
it's fun. It's funny, Joey. I have a 3D animation of cartoon Joey doing the moonwalk. I just can't pull it up right now, but I'll bet you could tear it up pretty good. So like, what happened from that? Like we've been to those. Oh my God, they're brutal. So you went to a strip club to get away from the meeting. I didn't
go to strip club. I just went to a regular dance club. I'm a musician. I've been playing drums for years. So I was there to band live music, and you can actually see people have fun. Yeah, the strip club. Matter of fact, I got that gig because there was my best friend in AA. He was about 10 years old. He was an investor. He actually owned the property of this club, and the place got burned down, and they were rebuilding. I had a painting business at the time, small, just while going to school. And he said, "Hey, such and such is looking for a manager. Why don't you go and apply?" I said, "I don't want to work in the strip club. That's not me." And then about a week later, he says, "Hey, they're looking for a DJ. You're a musician and everything." I said, "Yeah, I'm a musician, not a DJ." And he basically said, "Hey, listen." He's like, he told me, he says, "I got a lot of money in this place. I'd like to have you inside, keeping an eye on it." So I went, they hired me, and it was a good lesson too, because I totally thought about the women differently when I worked with them. A lot of them were actually decent people just trying to make a buck to support their kids and everything like that. You got the drug addicts and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I ran a clean club, and I was kind of proud. I made some money, and it was good, but I had to get out of that business after a while because it does wear on you, mostly the customers, because the guys can, be jerks. And then I was partners in a regular club for a little while, but it was all music related because I just like playing, I like playing live music.
I've been to a strip club once. I don't care for it. I just don't. It's not my thing. I have 2 daughters as well. Our story aligns quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
We share a lot of the same similarities. Thank you so much for coming on our little podcast.
I appreciate it. It was fun. It was fun.
Your book again is "Don't Drink or Use No Matter What," and no matter what means no matter what. Papa Joey on Amazon. You were great tonight, my friend. Thank you so much for coming on here.
Thank you.
We appreciate you,
Awesome.
and
Thank you.
Stay in touch with us for sure. Had more time. Jimmy, did you get to read any of his books?
I haven't. I've ordered it. There was so much similarity, like the daughters, and just it's like wow, and the Catholic thing, and then kind of like saying, "Hey, I'm taking what I've learned, and I'm moving on." I'm not saying, and then of course all the haters and everybody else like that. Like I'm at that point right now with the whole correctional stuff, and people are like, "Oh, everybody's jumping down my throat," and I'm like, I did what you told me to do, and now I'm doing what Jim wants to do. So get over it.
That's
Well,
the
you're
problem.
gonna,
You
and
do
then
what
they,
they wanted you to do.
well, you're not giving back. I'm like, oh, bugger off. Really,
Yeah.
really.
No, Jimmy, you know what? You'll see their true colors, and then you'll be like, "Oh my god, okay."
Well, I have. And
See
it's
ya.
like, yeah, but I'm having more fun now.
People are people, Jimmy. You know, AA, NH, you know, Walgreens, whatever. People are people, and like we have an atmosphere of like nobody's gonna do that here. We're not gonna get angry. I'll get angry at like Will or like the StreamYard or whatever. But like, you know, like he said he thinks AA should be updated, and as he said that, I thought about it for a second. I was like, you know, maybe how about we just, if you don't want to go to AA, don't go to AA, and like let it do whatever it wants to. It doesn't have to be updated. Just let it be it thing, and everybody who still likes that. But like, we're all of, you know,
they have what they call the plain language big book, and the old timers lost their shit, totally lost their shit. And I'm like, it's still the basic same message. It's just so people can understand it, not 90-year-old verbiage.
Jim, that's not how it was meant to be, though.
Oh, listen here. Why don't you just go to a meeting, Will? Just go to a meeting.
Yeah, you might want to do steps again.
Yeah.
I just, I hear, you know, Facebook can be very hateful, and you don't, you know, just ignore that shit. You know, breed positivity. You know, like, you know, you got beautiful guys like Will come on here twice a week for you to make you happy. And that's it. That's a big, love you a long time.
I love you.
Let's take a couple of minutes. That was a long one. So it was good. It's funny. There was a lot of people watching. I saw the attendance was higher than usual, and like the comments are zero because
people are listening.
Right. It's funny how each show is different, and you know,
whatever, it is. But actually, thank God I still have his number, because I'm going to say, hey, can we talk like maybe on the weekend? Because there's so much I want to talk to him about, like the similarities, like having the two daughters. And I look when he's talking about his daughter that passed, and I look at my mother-in-law who's had two children pass because of the disease of addiction, and all like, and just being isolated. But he just doesn't pick up. Right?
Yeah, that got me too. I was not
and
expecting
I'm like,
that.
holy shit.
His
and
daughter
and it's like, holy crap, like the intestinal, what's the intestinal? But there's the courage, you know, courage and strength. And he just says, hey, it's up to, like, we make the decision.
We have free will.
We do. And Free Willy. Woo.
Free Willy. I just, you know, I don't know if I come back from that, to be honest with you.
And I remember when I was at recovery, and people are saying, well, what if this happened? And they're already pre-planning their relapse. And it's like, oh yeah, well, my mom died, so time to drink. Or, oh, my kid's in jail. Oh, time to drink or time to use. And they just have this checklist, and he just rolls with the punches. And it's just, life just goes on.
He's cool. You know, he's older. He has his own style. I'll have to check him out. I'm not real.
He's 3 years older than me. He's got 34 years, and he's talking about stuff. Like, I'm sure when he first went, they were still smoking in the rooms.
Well, there's a place in New Jersey that you can still smoke in the rooms. Yeah, I mean, but like he's seen some shit, but like, man, like he took us through his story. He was pretty thorough, and like I kind of went with him, and like, that's hard, man. That was a hard life, and he wasn't making excuses. He was just laying it out.
He owns his own shit, and he just says, "Well, you know, if this what people are saying, well, you have no idea, or if this happened to you."
Yeah, well,
and I've heard that so many times from people. If this happened to you, you would have gone back out too.
Right. It's just hypothetical.
Well, but
I can't. I don't know, because that hasn't happened to me, and I have a great support group, which is you and everybody else. And it's not just, you just go to a meeting.
I'm just everybody.
And I'm not slamming it. Like he said, he's very humble. Like what he has is, when he does his little, they're like maybe 3 minutes long. He always says he never offends anybody, but he takes on the topic. Like he said, the topic today was, should AA be updated? Yeah, and I looked at the comments, and it just blew up, and people were just tearing him a strip. You have people supporting him. That's both sides, right?
Yeah, that's life. We're all gonna die. Who fucking cares? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, like, I just don't want to fight with anybody anymore. I'm done fighting. You know what I mean? I've done fighting.
Well, you just reach a point in your life, and especially for me, I've earned the right to just say, fuck it. Excuse my French. I'm filling in for Brad. But what I'm saying is, you just say, I'm sick and tired of this shit. I'm not going to put up with it anymore. And it's not because I'm trying to be a dick. It's just, I'm not putting up with the shenanigans.
Boundaries. Where do they teach that?
Well, I don't know there,
well, Jimmy's a slow learner on boundaries. I know that. We've gone through this whole thing, and like, I just, Jimmy puts himself out there, and he deserves a better fate than that. But you know what? You live, you learn, you move on. Fucking do it. Do what's good. Do what isn't good. Don't do what isn't good. Bethany says, "Be fair." I was driving home. I put groceries away.
Bradley says, "Great show."
Nobody has to explain why they're here or why they're not here. I love you all. You're all welcome. Come, go as you please. Bethany keeps I watched her show last night, and she makes sure that she does her talking trash PSA. I'm like, you don't have to do that. I'm like, I know. I don't know. We are going to set her up with StreamYard and get them squared away. Right? It won't be that bad.
Just start your own streaming service.
Yeah, I was gonna.
When Jimmy buys the radio station, then we can get.
I know. Yeah, I bring this up. I swear to God, this was the cake. This is. Right at it, the cherry on the fucking cake. I was like, of course, we got his name wrong somehow. So,
he's Sober Joey on Facebook. Okay.
No. But anyway, people are out there. Go check them out.
Yeah. No.
They do some cool shit, and of course, Bethany jumped right in, and she's gonna fill in for Doug Matthews or whatever his name is.
Yep.
But it's just we all see the same thing. It all makes sense to us. So why not help each other? And I can barely get my own podcast fucking posted, guys. So I don't know how much help.
We're paid.
In closing here on Talkin' Trash Podcast, we read an NA traditional reading called Just for Today.
This is the moment I break through. First things first, Will.
First things first, just for today.
There it is. Jimmy, when I was looking at this earlier, I was thinking about AA as he was talking, and I was like, these signs, they're almost condescending in font. I almost feel like
it is. Well, it's called Old English.
I understand. I know what font it is. I know. It makes me upset.
It's dominating. It's very.
It makes me. Yeah. This is how it's gonna be done, you motherfucker.
you gotta break through.
Apply effort to our most obvious problems and let go of the rest. We do the job at hand, and we progress new opportunities for improvement for themselves. Shut up. Basic text, page 56.
What's that about a hand?
It's been said the recovery is
you call me?
All we got to change is everything. That can seem a pretty tall order, especially when we first arrive in Narcotics Anonymous. After all, not many of us showed up at our first meeting because our lives were in great shape. On the contrary, a great many of us came to an NA in the most of the worst crisis of our lives. We needed recovery and quick. The enormity of change required in our lives can be paralyzing. We know we can take care of all that needs to be done. Not all at once. How do we start? Chances are we've already started. We've done the first, most obvious things that needed to be done. We've stopped using drugs, and we started going to meetings.
AFT? No.
What did we do next? Pretty much the same thing, just more of it. From where we were, or are, we do what we can. We talk the path of recovery by picking up our feet and taking the step that's right in front of us. Only when that's been accomplished must we concern ourselves with what comes next. Slowly but surely, we'll find ourselves walking progress down the path, visibly drawing closer each day to becoming the kind of person we'd like to be.
JFT.
I will walk the pace of my recovery by taking the step right in front of me.
The path of my recovery, I will do. Yep. There's that. First things first. This is very exciting. Whole new outro thing. 1-800-GAMBLER if you're a degenerate gambler like me.
Meetings.
meetings. We have AA Meeting Finder. You can go
I
on
have
Google
meetings.
Play or the App Store and hit the meetings. NA Meeting Search, a little less handy, but it's there. Day counting apps. Early in recovery, we don't suggest to. I'm just saying it's better if something else is counting your days, so you don't have to focus on it, but you could still celebrate.
Well, it's something to
them.
look forward to when you first start off. You know what I'm
This
saying?
is true. Yep.
Yep, I could fuck all now, but back then, man, I was 38 days. Look at me go. You know? So I gotta keep it green, guys. Do that.
Back to the
988.
green.
If you feel like keeping it, if you feel like keeping it, Will the screen. If you feel like keeping it, back to where we were. Killing yourself, go do 988 and don't kill yourself. Obviously, if there's an emergency, dial 911.
Or Tim.
Well, see you Sunday. Elizabeth McKeon. Well, that's very
Hey,
exciting.
isn't she a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner?
I don't know, Jimmy.
I believe she is.
After hearing that, I have new faith in society.